Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. Sorry, we're a couple of minutes late in starting the webinar. We were just giving people some time to join. So, I know everyone here is running busy security operations, so genuinely appreciate you investing the time. My name is Neil, and I lead the solutions engineering team at Flightbase. And in this session, we are going to walk you through a very real shift happening across security operations globally, from reactive manpower heavy processes towards connected autonomous always on systems. We'll talk about the current landscape, what's actually changing on ground, and most importantly, how leading teams are already doing this in live environments. And that's something that we want to show you. This won't be a theoretical technology talk. This will be practical, deployment driven, and rooted in what's working across enterprise and public safety teams, and what Flightbase has been learning from all of these teams for the past couple of years. So during this webinar, here is how we will break it down. We'll first cover the shift from reactive to autonomous security, understanding the current scenario of aerial security operations, the modern security lifecycle. We're also going to introduce the secure stack, and this is something that I really look forward to because there are a lot of insights that we have gathered from the multiple deployments that we've done over the years. We're going to dive a little deeper into the two modes of security operations and the three ways to use Flightbase in aerial security. We'll also spare a couple of minutes in the end to take questions, any questions that you may have, and we look forward to that as well. So once again, really excited to be here and share all of those insights, and really looking forward to making this conversational as well. So I'll start with a very grounded question where do most security teams actually stand today? So broadly speaking, when we speak with security directors or drone security program managers across different industries, let's say airports, utilities, logistics, real estate, and public safety agencies, we consistently see three maturity levels. So the first is, the man stage, man security, where you have guards, static cameras, radios, shift rotations. It works, but it's constrained by human limitations and obviously line of sight. Then you have augmented security. Teams have been slowly adding drones, usually manually flown or semi-automated. Visibility over here improves dramatically, but each system still operates in its own silos. And then you have the third maturity level, which is autonomous security. This is where sensors, alarms, cameras, and drones, all of them work together. You get detection, verification, and response in one coordinated flow. Most organizations, from our experience, today sit between augmented and autonomous stages, not because they lack capability, but only because the systems that they currently have are not speaking the same language. And that leads us directly to the next point or the next slide, because having more tools doesn't automatically mean that you're close to autonomy. So we are going to speak a little more about the illusion of autonomous security. Many teams today feel like they're close to autonomy because they've invested in different infrastructure, like they have cameras, alarms, and drones. But autonomy isn't about having more devices, it's about having connected devices. Right now, in many operations, you have alarms that trigger alerts, a camera records independently, and drones are then flown manually. And the operator ends up, playing the traffic controller, stitching all of this together under pressure. The illusion here is that we have components, so we're already autonomous. The reality is that until and unless those components coordinate and, like I said, speak the same language, automatically and instantly, you're still running manual operations. And when we break down what today's security stack look like, the gaps become even clearer. So your current systems are powerful, but also a bit fragmented. I'm sure you're managing multiple vendors with separate support cycles. You face hidden costs, integration fees, streaming charges, overhead, compliance overhead. You have fragmented workflows. So alarms in one system, drone footage in another, and incident logs somewhere else. And if you're in the audience, you're from a security background, I am sure that you might be resonating with this as well. And as your operations expand, costs obviously grow linearly because each site becomes a separate ecosystem of its own. And this fragmentation honestly isn't failure, it's the natural outcome of the years of layering tools as the new needs have emerged. But now the opportunity is clear. We just need to unify the systems that we currently use. And to understand what a unified operation looks like, we need to zoom out a bit and look at the entire life cycle of a security event. So again, let's have a look at the modern security lifecycle and ground this slide into a framework every security leader knows. So I'm sure you all have heard of the OODA loop, which is observe, orient, decide, and act. It's the decision lifecycle behind every security response. Now, what you see here is the same OODA loop translated into an operational lifecycle of aerial security operations. So you have detection, point number one, which equates to observe. Your sensors, radars, video analytics, or access control systems detect an anomaly. Then you have verification, which translates to orient. So this is usually where time is lost because teams are trying to interpret partial visibility from fixed cameras or dispatching a guard to physically verify if there is a threat or not. Then you have the third element, which is response, so which equates to decide and act. Based on whatever context you have chosen how to deploy resources. It could be a patrol, it could be a supervisor, or it could be emergency services. You then have investigation, where you basically learn. Once the situation stabilizes, teams together put together evidence, footage, and operator notes to understand what exactly happened and what we can do about it so that it does not happen in the future. Or if it does, then you're able to at least mitigate the risks. You then have audit that allows you to improve your overall security workflows. So supervisors review the incident, log accountability, refine procedures so that the next loop becomes faster and more precise. And right at the center of this entire life cycle is the human in the loop. So one point that I'd like to make here, and one thing that we have realized as well, that autonomy doesn't remove the human in the loop, it supports them. Operators still validate events, make final decisions, guide the on-ground response teams so that they can respond to incidents faster. Drones simply collapse the time it takes to get the information that they need. So autonomy isn't replacing human judgment, it's actually amplifying it and it's augmenting it and helping teams close their OODA loop in seconds rather than minutes. So, based on our observation, and I'm sure you might agree with this as well, security teams traditionally operate in two modes. One is a proactive mode where you have scheduled patrols, periodic sweeps of an entire perimeter, routine visibility. This deters incidents, but it may also miss events between rounds. You then have a reactive approach as well, which is reactive security. You basically wait for an alert. Maybe it could be a motion sensor or a fire alarm, a drone or a guard response. You get visibility only after something goes wrong. Both are important, but both also have gaps. And the gaps are exactly why organizations worldwide are shifting toward more adaptive models. So, to give you a sense of scale, autonomous operations are not experimental anymore. It is being seen across airports, refineries, plantations, logistic hubs, mining sites, and public safety agencies, all of whom are running over 15,000 autonomous flights every single month. And these missions support everything from disaster response to highway patrols to solar inspections to residential security. So the question for the question isn't whether autonomy works, it's how to implement it in a way that complements your existing security infrastructure and your existing operations. And that is what brings us to the model that most successful teams use today. So the ideal model is a hybrid approach. The strongest operations today run a hybrid model combining proactive and reactive assets into one workflow. Here is why. Guards obviously bring their intuition, the community knowledge, on ground knowledge, presence, the ability to detect early signs that sensors might miss. Drones bring real time visibility, rapid verification, tracking, and objective evidence. Hybrid isn't about replacing guards, it's about each letting them do what they do best and even letting them do more than what they can do. So let's have a look at what this will look like operationally. So you have a couple of models, and this is one of our recommendations as well that we have seen from again a lot of deployments. You can go from proactive to reactive. Basically, a patrol is underway, a sensor triggers, the drone pivots instantly, verifies, and resumes its original route. You can go from reactive to proactive as well. A verified intrusion occurs again through a motion detection camera or a access control breach. The zone becomes a high risk. Micro patrols increase automatically for the next 2 to 3 hours. You have guard and drone collaboration. So this is where the augmentation happens. A guard hears something without visibility. They request a drone directly. The drone provides eyes in the sky, air cover, air support, so that the guard doesn't walk into uncertainty. They're more prepared and they're situationally informed, and then they can take the next steps accordingly. This is teamwork between air and ground. And then you have the time-based hybrid model as well. So as a security operator, you know what your risk hours are. You can create proactive sweeps of your entire perimeter every hour, every 20 minutes. And then you are aware of the low risk hours as well. So this could be an area or an aspect where only reactive things are happening and the drone is instantly being dispatched. And when you compare the hybrid model to the traditional models side by side, the difference actually becomes pretty clear. In a proactive only setup, you rely only on routine. In a reactive only setup, you rely on alerts. Hybrid gives you both. You have the baseline visibility and instantaneous response as well. It transforms your operations from event driven to context driven, because what you learn from proactive missions informs your reactive logic and vice versa. You start operating as a single intelligence layer and your operations are no longer siloed. So what does this unlock for teams in real environments? So hybrid security, as you know, brings immediate measurable benefits. So there's lower strain on manpower, there's more consistent coverage, faster verification of alerts, the response times are reduced, you have safer engagement for guards, dynamic response patterns, and aerial visibility available wherever it's needed. This is what adaptive security feels like on the ground. And now let's look at how this plays out in the real deployments as well. So Flightbase has done multiple site security deployments across the globe, and we'll just share a couple of nuggets on how people are using it, and this may help paint a picture for you. I'm just going to start a short video.
Hi, I'm David Strauss from 24/7 Drone Force. Welcome to Stand C3 at Security 2025. Behind me is one of our remote pilot operators. This is how we operate live in the field, completely off-site and away from the danger. From here, our team can launch, operate, and recover drones deployed anywhere in the country, or remotely, all in real time. Every mission is fully automated with manual override available for tactical control. These live feeds stream directly from our deployed drones in the field, delivering high definition and thermal imagery for perimeter patrols, emergency response, and infrastructure monitoring. Come and experience real remote drone operations here at SAN C3 and see how our technology is transforming security and response across South Africa.
So as you could see from the video, and uh, the speaker explaining as well, when you deploy drones in an ROC method for site security, you're out of danger. You can conduct live operations for perimeter security, incident response. If you need to take manual override during a scheduled perimeter sweep, that's something that you can do. And your teams are always away from danger. They're getting augmented. And in case there is an incident that has occurred, they can quickly deploy the ground resources needed to tackle any type of a situation. There's one more video from Triton Protection, and
this is a question we get a lot about our security drones. How long can they fly? These are not your store-bought toys that can fly 10, 15 minutes. These can fly upwards of 30 minutes. The factors that go into that primarily are weather and then function. The drone has to fight against wind to maintain a stable platform to give us a good picture. Are we having a lot of movement of the camera? A lot of different cameras switching from thermal to zoom to wide? Are we using the spotlight or the speaker a lot? All those do reduce battery life. Ultimately, though, we fly for about 25 minutes on each flight with the drone. If we are monitoring an emergency situation, batteries starting to get low, the drone is programmed to automatically return to the docking station to charge. This will help ensure we have a safe landing. With the drone's capabilities and our mission planning capabilities, we can definitely fly long enough to be able to protect your business.
Right. So this video gives us some context about continuous property protection, and how drones in different kind of environments, the kind of accessories that you can use with them, and how they can stay in the air longer to provide continuous air support or air cover so that your security operations are seamless and secure. A couple of other insights that we would like to share as well. So Perimeter Security is a security company. They're based out of the US, and they're reducing car theft with autonomous drones surveillance in the US. As you can see in the stats, they've prevented 750K US dollars in potential loss, prevented in just one incident. They're carrying over 6,000 plus drone flights conducted for their entire security operations. And the ROIs is pretty clear. Just one incident saved this kind of a money, and it sort of pays for the entire drone program as well. And what they're doing is they're doing 24/7 secure surveillance. They know the time slots where there is the highest risk. They ramp up their drone flights during that time, and then they make sure that there are pilots who coordinate directly with the on-ground security guards and augmenting them to take the informed decisions as well. Titan Protection reduces security costs by about 60% with autonomous drones. As you can see, the drone security package offers full protection at approximately $6,000 monthly compared to the traditional security methods, which is $13,000 monthly. So that's delivering a 60% cost reduction and increasing the response times by 70%. Discovery Land has been securing high net HNI. HNI is in real estate with autonomous drones, and their drones again cover their entire properties with 24/7 surveillance. Example, they know at night they need to ramp up their operations, they need thermal feeds, their missions automatically switch to thermal while they're conducting the missions. Uh, there are even further configurations that can obviously be made. Uh, for example, if you want the drone spotlight to be always turned on while you're running drones in night, that's something that you can achieve as well. So incident response is faster. They're able to respond to threats in a faster manner, coordinate with on ground personnel to become more situationally aware. Right. And it's not just about areas where you just need to do perimeter security. This can be deployed at large physical sites as well. So Dole Asia is one of the biggest pineapple plantation companies in the world, and drones and dogs helps them improve plantation security. There's a lot of theft that goes on there. There's a lot of people and vehicle detection that needs to happen, and they've been doing 24/7 drone coverage, and there has been a 35% reduction in unauthorized access incidents as well. And the best part is that this entire workflow is connected to their ERP systems, where they can actually log and track and share insights of what all events happened, so that they have a proper history that can be audited. Maybe if a theft needs to be reported to the police will have all the evidence that they need to take uh, informed decisions going forward. This case study is a bit unique. MSS Security transformed Port Lincoln Airport safety with BVLOS drone ops in Australia. So they're doing nighttime security, uh, detecting a lot of security threats, wildlife intrusions, and fence breaches as well. Right. So this is where it gets interesting. All of the case studies that I just showed you, there are a few patterns that you can draw from each of these deployments. So behind every successful autonomous operation, we've seen consistently six pillars, and that is something that we call the secure stack. So you have sensor integration. This connects your alarms. This could be radars, cameras, access systems to every alert. So every alert can automatically trigger the right autonomous response. You have your enterprise VMS integrations as well. So drones and dogs stream flows directly into platforms like Milestone, Genetec, Prism, creating a single operational picture without switching systems. So imagine your drones and dogs are running autonomous operations. There is a security guard in your security operations command and control center who is viewing not just the CCTV camera feed, but also the drone and the dog feed. That gives them more situational awareness, that augments them and help them take the right decisions. Then you have continuous monitoring. Autonomous flights run on schedule, ensuring uninterrupted visibility throughout the night during shift changes or high risk zones. You have unified command and communication. Ground teams, control room operators, and aerial units share the same real time feed and event updates, eliminating silos. So imagine there is a threat, you have identified something, the drone is already in the air. Now you need to maybe call in additional reinforcements and also let them know what's exactly happening at that situation. Why not share a video stream link with them that they can log into, figure out what's happening, how many additional ground forces they might need, and how can they, make sure that they are safe, out of danger, but also they are mitigating the risks that are on the ground. You have real-time intelligence. So drones provide visual and thermal clarity, supported by obviously AI detection and tracking. So operators can interpret situations as they unfold. And you have emergency response and reporting as well. So every mission is automatically generates flight logs, evidence, captures, media. It could be images, videos as well. It's recording the incidents, giving teams a complete digital audit trail for compliance. So I hope the secure stack gave you some more visibility on how you can, get your security drone program up and running. And if you can scan this QR code as well and download the playbook, which has some more details on how the secure stack can actually fit into your workflows, what you can pick and choose, and what exactly you need to do so that you can get your aerial security operations uh, up and running. And this is something that we'll share after the webinar as well. So most organizations progressed, and again, based on our learnings, through 4 phases. Phase 1 is where you map and assess all of your assets, your infrastructure. You figure out what your security problems are, the actual threats that you have, identify blind spots, understand the site, and pinpoint where drones add the most value. So this is an entire assessment that every uh, person who's starting a drone security program needs to identify, and this is kind of the building block for everything. You then have phase 2, where you connect and integrate your current systems. So you link alarms, sensors, your video management systems, so drones can launch and stream automatically. Phase 3 is operationalize and train. So run hybrid missions, the ones that we spoke about earlier. Build your internal standard operating procedures. These are obviously going to be site specific. These are going to be as per your sites, your requirements, and the pain points that you identify. Train guards and operators, align air and ground coordination as well, so that both of them can complement each other, and drones become a force multiplier for your entire aerial security. Then you have phase 4 is where you scale and optimize. So roll out multi-site coverage, centralize monitoring, add AI verification, and standardize operations across regions. And this is typically a 3 to 6 months journey depending on scale. So when teams actually adopt autonomy, how do they actually use flight based day to day? And this is something that we like to show you as well. So there are 3 ways security teams currently use flight based. So one is the primary interface that you saw in a couple of videos. Teams run everything inside flight based. So this could be integration with their alerts, sensors, creating their missions, ingesting feeds into their video management systems. This is perfect for your remote operations command and control setups. The second is an integrated interface where operators never feel the software. Drone feeds are published directly into their video management systems or PRISM systems, which could be Milestone, Genetec, custom platforms, etc. And then you have the invisible interface as well. So if you are a security company, you want to get started with everything from ground up, want to build your own workflows, Flightbase operates entirely in the background through APIs. So customers can have their own UI while autonomy is handled under the hood. And this flexibility allows autonomy to fit into existing workflows instead of forcing change. And of course, autonomy only works if the data architecture behind it is secure. A couple of other things that you can integrate into your security workflows as well. So you have AI detection and alerts. Whenever there is a person or a vehicle that is detected, you can automatically receive alerts, and then these alerts can be sent to the ground teams and they can take informed decisions. You have, like I said, integrations with your existing. Let me actually just show you a video on how the flight-based platform integrates seamlessly with your existing VMS setup as well. So as you can see, this is the genetic platform, and this is a plugin that we have with Genetic, where you can ingest your drone's video feed, your Docker station's video feed, and also see the drone's telemetry uh, and the map as well. So your security operators will always be able to see where the drone is, what is it doing. You can integrate your alarms with it. If the security operator feels that they want to send in the drone to a specific area, that's something that they could do as well. So this is how it's all going to look like. You have the map, you can see the drone moving around, you have the drone's video feed as well. You can ingest the box video feed. This will obviously sort of become like a video wall where you have your CCTV cameras as well. So this is where, integrating all of your systems comes into the picture, so that your you have more situational awareness and you can take quick and informed decisions. Right. And let's say if you want to have event-based triggers as well. So let's say if you have a security guard that's on site and they have been conducting, let's say, on foot patrol, and they notice that there's something wrong that's happening and they require immediate air assistance as well. All they need to do is, just text to fly, just say fly or tap on your mobile. It could be a tablet, Android, iOS as well, and the drone automatically launches. So based on where you are exactly, the drone will respond to that location within a couple of seconds or a few minutes. And the security guard has a third eye as well. So they have another, team member in the sky that's actually helping them take decisions and maybe even figure out what is the next step that they need to do. You can have detailed shift and incident reports as well. So let's say you did figure out there was an incident that happened. You can build incident reports. The media will automatically be mapped with each and every flight. You can annotate what went wrong, your observations as well as a pilot, so that the right security people within your team can just get instantaneous reports. And this is where we're reducing the time on the reporting as well. So you don't have to manually compile a report and tell people what went wrong, what can we do about it. We are helping you close that loop faster as well. And you have the data security layers as well. So every security and surveillance operation has their own specific security needs. Flightbase has multiple deployment options. So you have the cloud deployment in the US and UK, European servers. We have totally air gapped deployments, in country cloud, and on premise deployments as well. So based on your needs, based on your current security IT setup, Flightbase is able to integrate with your existing workflows. Right. And let's just speak about a couple of pointers or ROI that we have seen from the fields as well. So if you ensure that you are utilizing the secure stack, if you are ensuring that the OODA loop becomes, faster and you're able to close the loop faster, we have seen that incidents are prevented, they're not just detected. Threats are obviously identified early through continuous aerial oversight. Response begins within seconds and not minutes. Autonomous verification accelerates decision making everywhere. Teams are safer and they have real time intelligence. Operations have throughout become transparent and accountable. Every event is logged. If you have your own separate systems where you want to keep a log of all of these events, maybe your own evidence management system, this is something that can be catered to as well, let's say for audits, etc. And you are allocating resources effectively and making sure that you utilize your resources to their best capabilities and overall improving the infrastructure and the response times and your overall aerial security as well. Right. So everyone, I hope that whatever we have covered up until now has given you good enough context if you want to get started with your aerial security. If you have already started it, then what exactly is it that you need to do to make it more scalable, to make it, uh, prove more value for your internal organization as well. And with that, I think we can open the floor for some questions. And we'd love to know, your perspective. Is there anything specific that you have in mind that we can help you out with? Please keep the questions rolling and we'll make sure to answer that. All right. I think we have one question from Joseph. Hi, Joseph. So the question is, I understand that you are using ShotSpotter integrated with FlightBase. Can you integrate ShotSpotter's fixed cameras with FlightBase drone camera that has been deployed based on the triggered sensor as well? So yes, if this is a requirement, it can be integrated as well. FlightBase is obviously a modular platform. As long as ShotSpotter has the APIs to get those cameras integrated, that is something that we can do. Obviously, we would need to figure out what is the exact workflow, what is it that you're trying to achieve, and based on that we can share some more insights and craft the perfect solution for you. Joseph, if in the meantime you want to share exactly the detailed workflow, that's something that we can take up a little later as well. Right. Right. So we have one more question from Santiago. Is it possible to use just the API for AI recognition? I do have thermal images IR. Right. So yes, the Santiago, this is possible. Are you referring to the DJI APIs for the AI recognition, or you want to build AI recognition on top of your workflows? That's something that we would love to know as well. But yes, FlightBase would be able to capture the thermal images, IR, and visual images. And if you have an internal AI recognition model, all of those images and videos can be sent to your um, you know uh, endpoint or storage, and then you can build your own pipelines on top of it. And this is something that we've been helping a lot of partners and customers with as well. I'm sorry, I'm just having a look at all of these questions. Okay, we have one question from James. What's the regulatory environment for autonomous drones operating right now, and how is it expected to change in the short term future? So James, that's a good question, and this obviously has a couple of nuances. It would also depend on the kind of region that you're wanting to operate these drones in. But a couple of things that we can share from our perspective is that these are mostly autonomous or semi-autonomous operations where there is a human in the loop, a pilot sitting behind a screen continuously monitoring what the drone is doing. The pilot may not be prompting the drone. Let's say you're responding to an alert, the drone launches automatically, but there is obviously a person sitting behind the screen and always a human in the loop. In addition to this, obviously, there are a couple of waiver requirements as well. So if you're flying over people. For example, you might need a parachute on top of your drone uh, to mitigate any risks or damage to uh, people or property, etc. Rahul has a question talking about privacy. Is there any way to obscure automatically car plates or faces for not involved vehicle or persons? So, Rahul, that's a great question, and this is something that we have observed, especially for public safety departments and police departments, where they would want to probably obscure the face for people not involved, or like there are a lot of nuances to it. Again, maybe there's section of the mission that you're flying at, and it could be a private property, and you want to obscure the faces or obscure anything that you see uh, in the private property. This is something that is obviously technically feasible, and if you have more questions on this, we'd be more than happy to take it up after the webinar as well. Right. So Michael has a question where he's asking, help me understand the operational workflows and personal requirements to be compliant with the FAA. So Michael, that's a good question. And if you're starting your own drone program, it's one of, again, the foundational layers, because without that, you won't be able to get up and running. So for FAA, the idea is, and the idea is that you would want to get a waiver so that you can get into the autonomous drone operations, and you would need to build a strong case on how you are carrying out risk mitigation when it comes to flying autonomous drones, especially beyond visual line of sight. So this is something that can be done from a hardware perspective, where you build a case on how the hardware works, what all safety mechanisms, fail-safe mechanisms the hardware has. Let's say there is, high winds, and the drone automatically comes back and lands inside the docking station. You also have capabilities within the software that the FAA would certainly like to know for risk mitigation. If there is a manned aircraft in your vicinity, what are you going to do about it? Uh, if I need to ground the drone immediately and not let it fly, is that something that you can do? Do you have a parachute on board in case you're flying over people, or let's say public places? So these are all the nitty-gritties that help you build a case, a strong case, when it comes to becoming FAA compliant and showing how you mitigate all of these risks. And if this is something that you need help with, we have dedicated documentation on how the software helps you in risk mitigation, and we can share that with you. So it's essentially a FAA compliance template as well. Right. So we have one question from Davis. I understand there is a case study in Cape Town. Can you share an example how Flightbase is providing technical support to the security company? So we are doing everything that we can from a software standpoint, helping them out with everything remotely. So how to so essentially, let's say you're a security company in South Africa and you want to get started. We work with you from the ground up. That is onboarding you to the platform, figuring out your problems, the quick wins that you can have to get started for your uh, aerial security operations. What is it that you want to achieve? What is it in the software that can enable so that you can achieve your goals? And yes, so it's a mixed approach where we work very closely with them in a remote setting and obviously on site if required as well. And we have dedicated channels through which we work with them and get things up and running. I think we have one more question from O. It's a bit long, but I'll just try to read it. We are planning to showcase a proof of concept to an IOC that involves autonomous drones supporting the security architecture across offshore oil fields. Autonomous drones flies up high and gives you live video feeds of far distances, blind sites, also spot threats, grades them according to the threat level and trigger vessels and stakeholders. How can we achieve a cost-effective POC to win their hearts? So, you would firstly, obviously, if you get dive into the specifics, you would need the hardware so that you have the dock and the drone as well. You would need the software to control it, and I think then it would be sort of working backwards. So if your goal is to make them show the real value, then you work backwards to figure out what are the quick wins that you can show to this company as a proof of concept so that they at least know how this technology can benefit them, and you also show them what exactly is it that you can do for them, not just during the POC but in the next couple of months or years, so that you're able to paint a picture on how they can get started. There are obviously a lot of technicalities and nuances as well. You mentioned an offshore rig, so how far out is it? Is the dog going to be placed there, or is it going to be placed onshore? What type of missions would you want to plan? What type of stakeholders would you like to keep informed? So diving into those nitty gritties is something that's really important as well. But this sounds like a very interesting use case, and if there's anything specific that you'd like to know about us, maybe we can take it up after the webinar as well. Right. So we have one more question from Anthony. Does flight-based software meet the requirements for evidence connection and storage in the event of a criminal activity is detected? Also, does flight-based software allow for video storage and access to example 30 days storage, etc.? All right. So we do have dedicated plans. So let's say with the standard enterprise plan, you get approximately 500 GBs of storage. So that's one limitation. You can obviously have top ups on top of it based on the data that you capture and store. Yes, we do have media obviously is stored in your private S3 or Azure buckets. If you have any custom, like I said in one of the previous questions, if you have a dedicated endpoint where you want us to send all of this data, it could be your evidence management system as well. We can send all of it. The access to that data will obviously be with you. We do have certain minimum storage limitations when it comes to the timeline as well. And yes, but on a high level, we can store all of that information in your dedicated servers, in your dedicated storage buckets, so that you have absolute access and you can retrieve them whenever required as well. Right. So you have Rahul asking, when you share a video, is it possible to watermark the video as well? Uh, so this is something, again, from a technical standpoint, is doable, but again, would love to know more, Rahul, on the exact use case. Why is it that you want to watermark the video? And we can take it up from there, but this is something that can be done. Carlos is asking, hi Carlos, if you have an alarm triggered, can it activate takeoff? of the drone via flight base? Absolutely. So this is one of the most common integrations that we have, where you connect an alarm source with uh, APIs and webhooks, and you integrate it with the flight base flinks, which is flight base flinks. And then whenever an alarm is received, the drone is then dispatched to that particular location. So this could be either a go-to location, or if you know that this specific alarm has a specific location and you want to, let's say, carry out a mission at that location, that's something that you can do as well. James has a question for the US. Does the human need to be on site, or can they be located remotely? James, this would actually depend on the type of waiver that you have. If you have a VLOS waiver, there will be a human in the loop required, especially on site. But if you have a BLOS waiver, you should be able to definitely run automated missions beyond visual line of sight. You can be sitting miles away in a command and control center, and the pilot can control the drone remotely. Anthony has one more question. Would like to know how to deal with shortcomings in autonomy, namely weather. That's one of the biggest challenges, and maybe a few others as well. So, Anthony, there are a lot of things over here when it comes. The hardware has weather sensors mounted on top of it. So you would obviously be able to figure out, do you have an all clear situation where you can make the drone fly or at least launch it. This is pre-flight. You can take an informed decision. Uh, Other weather services can also be integrated via flight-based links. So let's say you use AccuWeather, and if that's something that you trust, that's something that we can integrate it on the dashboard as well. Technicalities can obviously uh, mapped out or scoped out. In flight, when you're flying the hardware, let's say DJI or it could be any other drone, they have their own fail safes. So if they detect that the wind speed is, not ideal and it's over what the drone manufacturer recommends, the drone automatically comes back and lands to inside the dock or at the safe location. So these are fail safes that come from a hardware standpoint. If the hardware doesn't have a failsafe, Flightbase can have their custom failsafe options as well. And this can be used with, let's say, docking stations such as Hextronics, where if there is a high wind speed, you want the drone to come back, you can determine the wind speed levels as well. And let's say if the threshold for you is 5 meters per second, and the wind speed while the drone is flying is 6 meters per second, the drone will come back and land inside the docking station. Rahul, yes, the ops like it can be applied to an area of your choosing. So it could be inside, your mission. Like even if the drone is facing at a particular angle in a particular direction, that's something that can be customized as well. OVO has another question. Can you integrate an AI CCTV camera network into your drone workflow? CCTV spots a thread and triggers the drone to fly and take a closer look at the suspect. Obviously, yes, this is something that we can do as long as the CCTV camera supports APIs, has API access, and we're able to send that data. If the CCTV camera has AI workflows, it would also be able to maybe tell us the threat level or the assessment as well, and we can receive those specific alerts and then send the drone in response to that trigger. So this is something that can be totally integrated. Anthony has one more question. Can you give us an overview of the integrations Flightbase has for existing camera systems at client facilities? The goal is to build an overall real-time crime center for operations using one software solution. All right. So thanks, Anthony, for raising that. We've also seen that you would essentially want one platform having all that visibility so that the cognitive load on your operator security operations is also reduced. Flightbase is compatible with a lot of existing camera systems as well. And maybe Shruti, if you have some time, you can drop in that link in the chat section. Detailed camera integrations are listed in the playbook, the QR code that we shared, and that we will be sharing after the call as well. So if you have any existing CCTV camera infrastructure where you're seeing all of those feeds, Flightbase would be able to integrate with it as well. All right, I think we can just take one question. Santiago, I will build AI on top of this. Is there any requirements for the images? What is more useful for your model videos or images? And are you working in face recognition as well? So there is no hard and fast requirement for our AI models that we use. The standard default images that the drone is capturing in thermal or RGB is something that we are using currently, and you can detect people, vehicles in daytime and nighttime. And I'm sorry, we are right now not working in face recognition, but if that is something that you like to do, that we can certainly discuss it. We are a modular platform. If you have your own models or if you have a set of data that you would like us to train, that's something that we can do for you as well. All right. I think we are almost up on time. Uh, there are a few questions that have not been answered. Rahul, I'll make sure that I keep a note of it and we will get back to you after the webinar as well in the interest of time. And yes, thank you so much, everyone, for being on the webinar, for taking out the time. I hope that the nuggets, the insights that we shared with you, you were able to, at least resonate with them and at least paint a picture on how your operations could look like if you are starting uh, currently, or if you already have an aerial security workflow, then how can you make it more seamless and more intelligent by connecting the different type of systems that you use. And yes, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it, and looking forward to seeing you in our future webinars as well. We will make sure that we share the webinar recording with you and the playbook. And yes, thank you so much.